YouTube, what is happening? Today I have an exciting new video for you guys where we're going to be going into a 2-hour call with my students where I show you exactly how to use AI to create Facebook ad creatives that convert. We start off with all the research that goes into after I pick a random student's product, then exactly step by step of how I use AI to create the hooks, the scripts, the prompts I use, all of that good stuff. And you can see it in this 2-hour training. So hope you guys enjoy. And this is exclusive for my Inner Circle students. So if you're interested in the Inner Circle, click link below to have Nick Theriot mentor you. That being said, enjoy the training. All right, so we're gonna do something today that I haven't done in a while. And last time we did it, it was just like, I don't know, I think y'all pretty much, I think like literally everyone stayed the full 2.5 hours it took to do that particular call. I don't want to do a 2.5 hour call today, but you know, we'll let it go as long as it needs to be for this to happen. But today I'll be creating an ad for one of you guys today. I'll probably create a few different ones too, because I'll probably go with like a few different ideas. So before we get started, a few rules real quick of how we're going to do this. Number one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have each one of y'all put a number in the chat. I'm gonna tell y'all the number in a second, but I'm gonna have each one of y'all put a number in a little bit. And the second thing is that if you put your number in the chat, you need to be here the whole call. So if you have to like hop out in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, don't put your number in the chat. And the last thing, and just the most obvious thing, is that your product will be shown to everyone in the call. So if you're scared for whatever reason to show your product to everyone in the call, then don't put your number in the chat. So don't put your number in the chat if A, you don't want people to see your product, or B, you basically don't want, you're not going to be here for the full call. So Tyler, you can hear us now? All right, so just to repeat that real quick, I'm going to be creating an ad for one of you guys today. I will have y'all post the number in the chat in a second. The third thing is, if you don't want your product to be shown to people, don't put a number in the chat, because the whole goal of this is I'm creating an ad for you. And then the last thing is, don't put your number in the chat if you're going to leave in 5 to 10 minutes, because the whole goal is to create this ad with you live to showcase y'all how I kind of go through that process. So let's see, we have about 15 different people in here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give y'all, hold up, let me pull up something real quick for y'all. I am going to give y'all 30 seconds to put a number in the chat between 1 and 50. And y'all can begin now. Here's y'all timer. Between 1 and 50. Put a number in the chat between 1 and 50 right now if you want me to build an ad for you on today's call. All right, all numbers are in. Everyone after Antoine, you are not in this contest or this particular drawing right here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna have Google pick me a number between 1 and 50. Closest number, long story short, you win. All right, y'all ready? It's gonna tell me immediately, so I wish I could have like a little more suspense or something like that. All right, 2. Whoever got closest to 2, we are building an ad for you today. All right, we got Zach 8, Julia 4. Julie's winning. Fab, sorry. Andrea with 2. All right. I don't think anyone's gonna get closer than Andrea. This will be a fun one. I'm actually really excited for this one. I've also picked a more difficult one too, right? This is why I'm enjoying this one. So what we'll do here, Andrea, can you drop your landing page in the chat? Where are you sending traffic to?
Yeah. I'm testing a new one right now. Should I drop the original one? That's
the one that you're currently actively using and currently actively getting sales from. Let's do that one.
I'll do the one I've had for a long time.
All right, cool. Sweet. Get some of this stuff rolling. Give me a new document opened up. All right, cool. And we just call this add built. All right, cool. So let me pull up this landing page. Just gonna gather everything. Landing page, boom. What is the offer here?
Consult, for phone consult, free.
Book a consult for free. And then what are you selling here?
This is the coaching. So we only have one thing that we sell, which is the coaching subscription, weekly coaching sessions and digital tools.
Okay. And like, is this weekly coaching sessions for people that are like, running Facebook ads? Who are you coaching for?
For women in pregnancy and postpartum looking for mental health support.
Okay. So weekly coaching for women or is it pregnant women and postpartum or just
Pregnant and postpartum, yeah.
Okay, who's your dominant customer?
Postpartum.
Postpartum. Those who run a Facebook ads agency, is also great to kind of see how I kind of take in a new client. Because there's a lot of things that we talking about with clients and stuff as we get in. All right, weekly coaching for postpartum women who need mental health support. Is that correct?
Yeah, mostly they're looking for therapy, but yeah, so you could say therapy if you wanted to be simple, more simple.
Okay. Therapy for women who is it just gave birth, or is it from like a specific, like 6 months to 20 months, or is it literally like day 1 to, who's your most common?
In the first year, most commonly 2 months to 1 year postpartum, but in the first year. We have women who come, 5 days after giving birth, sometimes very soon.
Cool. Do you have anyone that's a little bit biased to the other?
Definitely more in the, I would say, sort of 3 to 10-month range postpartum.
Perfect. Cool. Sweet. That's good. All right. Next thing we're gonna look at is we're gonna start going through our research and stuff like that. To be fair, the first thing, obviously, if I'm an agency owner and I'm talking to the client, I would sit here and drill Andrea for a little bit longer and kind of acts like, all right, what are the problems and stuff like that. Generally speaking, when you come up with a product idea, you should already kind of have a problem that people are experiencing, and that's why you're creating this particular product to solve that problem right there. So I'm curious, Andrea, what was the problem you identified in the marketplace for you to create this product? What was the initial problem or like thing that you wanted to go feel with this particular service?
The technical term, perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, or more commonly postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety.
Okay, so mostly you saw pregnant women with postpartum anxiety, and you wanted to go provide a service for them to basically help them out, right?
Yep. And it's focused on not medication, but behavioral interventions. So more coping tools as opposed to medication.
Said post-behavioral?
So you can say, let's just put coping tools.
Coping tools, that's so much easier.
Yeah. I have the language I use as a clinician and a researcher, and then I have the language I try to use to communicate to the audience. So I'll use the audience language.
All right, cool. So you identify people, pregnant women with postpartum anxiety
and depression.
Service. And that's going to be PP. I'm just going to call it PP. Postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. Coping tools, and then you basically brought a service that does coping tools for dealing with the problem itself, correct?
Right.
And then the next thing you were looking at is so the actual offer itself Is this going to be, I know you said what, a weekly call? Is that a group call, one-on-one call?
Weekly one-on-one video sessions
Okay.
and coping tools library as well.
And then that's with a licensed therapist or?
No, this is the thing that's a little bit unique. It's they're coaches, so we could say perinatal certified coaches.
That's an interesting one. Perinatal?
Perinatal. So perinatal just means around natal, around labor and delivery, perinatal. So perinatal certified. Yeah.
Perinatal coach.
Mhm.
Cool. Anything else with this offer?
Digital tools library.
All right. Sweet. All right, cool. Sweet. And is there any other solutions they'll commonly use for this?
Medication. Not so therapists who don't specialize in postpartum.
All right. Anything else?
Wait and see if it gets better. I don't know if that counts here, but that's commonly an approach. It's more like let's just wait. Maybe it'll get better as my baby gets older. Yeah, hope it gets better.
Cool. We'll start our research.
Oh, and one more. Therapists that just provide a place to vent. So they don't actually help solve the problem.
All right, sweet. Start our research. Get this started. First thing I always like to do now, go to foreplay, probably one of the easiest ways. And I want us to start looking at like building a foreplay dashboard. I don't know if we're gonna be able to go all the way down to like actual your specific type of coaching, just because you're very niche down. But what I can at least do is I can start looking at how just therapists run ads, right? Just to see kind of the framework they use in the ad to get that lead, to get that sell in that sense right there. That's the first thing I like to do, just because it's such a quick and easy way for me to start to try to understand a little bit more. Let me just do like mom therapy. See if there's anything around that as well. I better look for. All right, boost your wellness, get free fluids. Oh, so this is like, let me do mental health. See if there's anything around that.
Going to the pharmacy to pick up my antidepressants was always such a pain.
Okay, this is a good example right here. Called out a different, let's see, I don't know if y'all can actually hear my screen. Let's see.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, you can hear. All right, cool.
The consultation and treatment recommendation only took a few days. It was way faster than waiting weeks for an in-person appointment. And whether you have insurance or not, Nurex takes the guesswork out of medication prices. Get my medications delivered around, it's time to make just going to the pharmacy to pick up my antidepressants was always
Okay, so this seems like to be just an offer for what I would call medication service online. Let me just do a create a board real quick. Let's just do student call. Andrea. Let's call Andrea. Not sure if any of you guys use Foreplay, but it's one of my favorite tools to get started.
All right, listen up. Here's signs that we need therapy. 1, you're feeling isolated and alone. 2, you're feeling depressed.
Ooh, this is a good one right here.
Teladoc is a massive player. Teladoc's the same as BetterHelp, which is probably the biggest sort of direct-to-consumer therapy platform.
Okay.
Or not yourself. 3, you're purposefully avoiding.
So something I'm gonna do a little bit different this call is last time I did this with everyone, I did literally just like one ad. I'm gonna try to pump you out a couple different ones. So like great example right here. If so in the beginning stages when I take on a new account, I like to first let's just replicate a lot of what's working really well already. But let's apply a little bit of that sophistication, apply a little bit of that, what makes us unique. So something like I would start off right away is, hey, look, this is a massive platform. It's been running for a while, which is good. That shows to me that like it's working, right? And it's still active. So it's been running for a while and it's still active. I would literally take this whole script right here and just recreate it, but with moms. That's what I would do. Really easy tool I like to do is go to cockatoo.com. And I can literally go to cockatoo.com and hold up 1 second. Forgot which one I have. All right. And then inside of here, I can upload this. And boom. View transcripts. All right, I'll let that get a second while we kind of go through this.
No, bro, not to bother. We're asking millennials what they do for their mental health, so help me out here.
Yeah, I actually.
Okay. Could easily do exactly the same thing except asking moms.
I don't have insurance.
Oh, how moms treat depression without insurance. That's a good one right there. Okay, so that also makes me think something else. Solutions they failed at, maybe objections. I don't have enough money for this. I don't know if that's gonna, if we're about to solve that or not, but at least that's something that I
Yes.
kind of learned now from that.
A big thing that we're solving. That's much more affordable.
What you see first reveals your depression level.
Huh, that's interesting. I've never seen an ad like that one. That's a good one. I don't know if we're gonna use it or not, but I'm gonna save it.
I wouldn't use that.
Finding a
So I'm actually running one of these text doc ads right here for my personal brand, and it's actually working extremely well. So that's something for all y'all to try. You literally just open up the notes app in your phone and like you can literally just create it and screenshot it and boom, that's your ad right there. You don't need to do anything inside of Photoshop, Figma, or anything like that.
finding.
Cool. These are all decent ones. I like these because they're all like different angles too. Oh, your journey to feeling better. I like that. This is good. So I'm gonna see a little bit of my ADHD planner on with this as well. All right. see what Claude says. Oh God, Claude. That's one thing I argue with Claude sometimes because he'll literally give me stuff like that. Like we're working on a product, we're working on a few products that are like red flags, and Claude will refuse it. So I have to bounce back and forth between Claude and ChatGPT. Oh, here's some signs you might need some extra support after giving birth. 1, you're feeling isolated, like no one truly gets what you're going through. 2, you're feeling down, anxious, or just not yourself. 3, you're avoiding asking for help because you're expected to handle it all. 4, childbirth is traumatic and it's hard to shake those feelings. I really like the childbirth is traumatic because we really do forget that like you go through this very traumatic experience and you expect it just to go in like, all right, you're perfectly normal back at home when your body's throwing all these like crazy signs. And on top of that, you're having to adjust to like this thing screaming and crying multiple times throughout the night. So there's so much you have to adjust. So I actually really like that. You deserve to feel supported and heard during this critical time. Prospera is designed specifically for new moms, making it easy and convenient to get mental health care tailored to your unique postpartum needs with affordable virtual access professionals understand your journey. Obviously, it's not going to be completely tailored to yours, but then you can just come there and tweak from this. Range of service include therapy, nutrition, goes along with the care team of Prosperita. Okay, cool. Let's see. Like this. I am going to do file, make a copy, add ideas for Treya. There we go. And then we can always come back. These are all going to be like rough drafts right now. We can come back and tweak those. That's what I like to do as I'm working on my research, getting ideas and stuff. I like to add all those rough drafts, and I'll have a big list of rough drafts that I can go back and tweak. A lot easier when you have to add in the idea in the moment than to like try to come up and formulate that later down the line. Okay, I think we're pretty much good with this because I really want to get into some of the other stuff.
Do you know, is it, because the question in my mind is always like, are these ads good? Like, how do we know if it's good? Is it sorted in any particular way?
Yeah, so a couple things. So one, you can see how long it's been running. So like this one right here has been running for, let's see, 67 days. Let me double check this really quick, how it's put it. Yeah, so time running is 67 days. If something's been running for 67 days and it's still active, likelihood it's probably good.
Okay.
But if I just did just mental health, for example, there's a lot on here. Like this one was running, for 100 days, but it's currently off right now. Like these are all off. So if they're off, likely they're probably not working. Or they were working, but just they got turned off because they were no longer working, or who knows, maybe the business got shut down, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I always like to do still running, and then that's going to give me my better, what I would say, quality of ads from there. And I'll typically look for ads that either A, they catch my attention, or B, they've been running for a long period of time. So long period of time and still running, or B, they're still running and just simply catch my attention. Like I like the creative format that they leveraged right there. So, and if you look at this, there's a lot of different creative formats that were leveraged through this. And that's usually where I'll take our winning ad from there. Like your current winning ad right now, taking that, and then we'll apply these different creative format types to it. That's what I'll be looking at as well. All right, a little bit further. I want to go to TikTok. TikTok's one of my favorite places for research, just because it allows me to consume a lot of information really fast. Because there's tons of people making content around that. I don't know why, but my TikTok just automatically saved the minnow belly because I spent like a long time doing research for minnow belly. So like this is just a great example. As soon as I open my TikTok every day, it automatically shows minnow belly right away. But what I'm gonna do is post, let's just do postpartum depression, and then we'll start from there, and then we'll kind of dive down. Postpartum depression is going to be a little bit more problem aware because that's the actual problem. Whereas like anxiety after or racing thoughts after birth is going to be more of the symptoms. So that'll be more unaware right there. And then obviously your solution where is going to be, therapists. So let's just going to go through some of these.
Depression, also known as PPD. Think of this as a more serious version of the baby blues. This affects about 1 in 7 people who give birth, and that number may actually be higher if we're not diagnosing it in everybody. So it is super common. Common symptoms with this are feelings of depression, fatigue. You don't want to get off the couch. You do not feel any sort of bond with your baby. In fact, maybe you don't even want to be around them. You may even have thoughts of harming yourself.
Let's see, solutions, users problem, symptoms. To not to be your baby. Fatigue.
Or harming your baby. These symptoms tend to start around 2 to 3 weeks after birth, and they don't go away unless they're treated. And the fantastic news is that treatments work. And the next is postpartum depression.
Next big thing I'm looking at is comments. Maybe there's PD symptoms, the differences on set nourishment. Mine started the night I gave birth. Also, this is a great example right here. I get to actually see what people are like kind of agreeing. A lot of people are liking it. A lot of people are kind of in agreement as well. Like, yeah, mine did too. Also, I like the most terrifying time in my life. Like that. Let me go. Most. I'll just start copying stuff down as I go. Cool thing about foreplay too is foreplay, you can save all of these as well to your dashboard if you want, if you like anything in here. A lot more moms suffer from PPA. So basically the anxiety side, which I think if you've already told me multiple times, Andrea, about the anxiety versus the actual depression side. Dude, it's a great question right here. People have had recurring miscarriages. I don't know if you do any therapy around that. That's also something right there. It could just be a potential new avatar. I wouldn't say that's like a new ad angle, but a whole avatar that you could satisfy.
Yeah, that's one of our avatars for sure. Miscarriage.
I'm struggling with this right now. All right, let's get through a couple more of these. A lot of people, as part of like the second one now, I've seen within like a literally within the first week, basically, they're starting to build this.
Mm-hmm.
Really like that. Yeah, it's a great example right there. And they keep using the word struggling might be useful for ad copy. That's absolutely correct. That's a great spot to start. Oh, I didn't know who to talk to about. I love that. That's a good one. I want to
I
start
made the
going through.
mistake of thinking just because my postpartum experience, because I made the mistake of thinking just because my postpartum experience at the beginning was so perfect that I had escaped postpartum depression. I had it really bad with my first child, and I was doing so well and just got a little cocky. I wasn't prepared for the surge of hormones that hit. Just feels really dark and really bad. Don't have a solution. I'm still not totally regulated. I still feel messy, but here I am. And I hope that someone watching this sees themselves in me. I'm just going to get up and feed my baby. I'm going to go to the bathroom, drink a glass of water, and start from there. We can do hard things, even though it doesn't feel like it.
Andrea, this is a great example right here of like, I don't know about you, but like, I almost want to go give this lady a hug. Like, hey, it's gonna be okay. So this is a great example right here of how much emotion was pouring through her in her voice as she was talking. Um, literally as something as simple as like at the end of this, she started to go into how she started talking to like a person at Prospera. That would have been a phenomenal ad right there. But the key thing there is the emotional aspect. If she was talking like how I'm talking right now, high energy, uplifting and stuff like that, people be like, no, that she's not struggling at all. But like you can tell in just her voice and it's almost like she's kind of struggling to make some of the words form as she's talking about it. Like that's powerful right there. Like I literally want to give this lady a hug after watching this. So I'm gonna save that one. Oh wait, it's not saving. All right, I'm just gonna copy this. You don't even know how we're in here. Ashamed to take the medication. Ah, that's a good one. So for those who are watching right now, and basically the key thing I'm doing right here is I have no clue. I mean, I have some context of what Andrea does and everything, but I have no clue really of what her customers are like. So this is just basically my ability right now to start learning a little bit more from our customers, what language they're using, what are they talking about, all of those key things right there. So that way, when I actually go to put pen on paper, it's easy for me because like right now, I really can't put pen on paper because I'm still gaining that context, right? And that's why when a lot of you guys ask me, hey, Nick, how long do I need to do research for? It depends. Depends on how complex the product is. If it was like writing an ad real quick for one of y'all with a t-shirt in here, it'd be easy. But for more complex products, which I'm actually super glad that we got a complex product to do because this is where the real learnings happen as a copywriter. Okay, getting a lot of people saying within literally 1 week, within the first week. So that's also a big one for me. Going into a dark place. Like Almond said, there's a lot of people saying struggling, feeling lonely, and draining. I'd say emotionally draining going through this. This girl right here, as she talks, you can tell she's emotionally drained in this creative. Actually, I would love to do TikTok download. All right.
Take an angel by the wings, time to tell her everything. Ask
Postpartum.
Oh, this is a good one right here. I love this. It's an ad right here, Andre, because I remember I've even told you to do this. You show someone emotionally upset. I know I've sent you an extreme example of this, but this is a really good one right here when you're trying to basically position yourself as an authority in the space. This is a really good ad right here, or a good concept.
From depression. This is the
All right, and this is also something else that I recently started doing new. I learned this in at Vid Summit, is start writing down key visuals. So key visuals, girl crying, girl holding baby. I'm just writing down key things that I'm kind of seeing in this content as well.
This is a big deal, and it's also not rare. It's thought that 1 in 9 women may suffer.
Oh, that's a good creative right there for a photo ad. I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't make you sad. That's such a good one right there from just yeah. Take a photo ad right there, do a split screen, something like that, and then have your offer on the other side. I like that. Three years, wow. No support. So there's a lot of people that are just talking about that support aspect. Which I love that because that's where, Andrea, you come in from the support perspective.
Nick, there's a comment under Megan right above the very bottom one. I think that one's pretty cool, where maybe there just isn't access or people don't know there's access.
Oh, is
no,
it
above
normal?
it. No, one more. Yeah, if you can, right above the highlighted comment.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
If you can get into the therapy. Oh, that is a good one right there. That's a good questions or objection. I'm just say question. And I wonder what she means by get into therapy. Is it more of a price particular thing? Or is it like health insurance improving it right there? That's a good question right there.
The problems are wait lists. So it's hard to sort of find someone who doesn't have a wait list, cost. Those are the biggest barriers.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I pointed it out.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't want to tell anyone because I don't want her to be taken away from me.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're getting there. I think we have some good stuff now. All right, so a couple things I'm seeing here is that just from a macro perspective, I'm seeing a lot of symptoms. I'm not really seeing many people actually talking about postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. It's more just like I had all these symptoms after birth and that's it. A lot of this TikTok content is people actually like educating people on what these symptoms are. So it's making people problem aware, which problem aware is postpartum depression. I have postpartum depression, I have postpartum anxiety. I don't really see anyone, to be fair, that's talking about solutions they failed with. Like, hey, I went to a therapist, or hey, I went to like a medication. I've seen like one comment now so far about medicine. I've seen one comment or two comments now about therapy, but very, very few likes, very few things. So it's showing me that people are not really completely resonating with those solutions right there. So I definitely don't see this as like a quote unquote solution aware market. I would say I would be testing problem-aware ads, calling out, basically saying like, hey, do you have postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety? Talk to or like, here's the best way to get that support you need. That's one problem I'll be going after. And then symptoms, you have a lot of symptoms. You have the symptoms of loneliness. You have the symptoms of like literally feeling like you can't be trusted with your child. You have the symptom of, consistent fatigue, consistent emotional drain that this is happening on you right now. That's things right there that I'd be looking at more from like the symptom side, and then diagnosing them with that postpartum depression or anxiety. And then going into, hey, we're here for you in that sense. We're that outlet to talk to you, talk with you, and give you those coping tools you need. So that's kind of what I'm starting to look for now. Can I start to diagnose the market and kind of diagnose the, be able to tell that story a little bit right there. And that's kind of how I know that's when I have like enough to quote unquote start writing.
Just a boy. Don't understand.
So key visuals too: girl crying, girl holding baby, girl crying, holding baby.
Another word I've seen a lot is drowning.
Drowning. Okay.
Drowning. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, so let's see. Antoine said this is good. They don't seem to know what the solution is. That's great. So this means this is not a solution aware market. This is also how I'm determining, is this solution aware? Is this problem aware? Is this unaware? And all I'm seeing is a lot of unaware stuff. The videos are calling out the symptoms and then diagnosing them with postpartum depression or anxiety. And what is it? The anxiety or depression that's more common?
Anxiety.
I know we've seen it in a comment. I just want to make sure.
100%.
Okay. Surrounded by people and still feel alone. Alone in a crowded room. I would love to see that as like a key visual too. All right. And then something else you'll start to notice in your research is once you start to kind of see the same things appear over and over and over, that's kind of when I feel like also on top of that, okay, I either need to change the platform I'm on, or B, maybe I need to start looking at my research and actually start to look at, okay, what's the more specific question I'm looking for right now? So like right now, my first question was, how do I better understand this market right now? That's my first goal. Now that I'm starting to understand it a little bit more, I'm starting to understand the symptoms, starting to understand the problem. Now I want to start looking at, okay, what am I missing to start writing? That's what I'd be looking at next. Right now, I would say the main thing I'm looking for right now is almost kind of like seeing, like we're seeing the loneliness factor. We're seeing the, that's a big one right there. We're seeing the emotionally draining. That's a big one right there. I would almost want to say, like, if I had a clear day in the life, that would also make it like really easy for me. And I know there's definitely probably one or two of those on TikTok. So I'm just kind of going through this a little bit more before I kind of do that actual search right there. Postpartum rage. That's an interesting.
Yeah, that's another persona we have. Yeah, Zach, a lot of people are prompted by their partner. So Zach says targeting the partner to get his help. So a lot of people are prompted by their partner to get help. So that is a common trigger to start looking for options.
Be interesting if you ran a creative exactly like this. Two men, but to be fair, it's mostly women in here.
Yeah.
Darkest time of my life. Let me guess, Facebook. All right. That's an interesting one right there. You have the entire world in your arms and feeling so alone, empty, and angry. So, Andrea, something that you can do, I don't know if you're doing anything organic on TikTok, but I would 100% be doing this if I was you, is just go start organically posting on TikTok, find all of these videos and stitch them. Do the green screen stitch with all of them. And give your expert opinion. And it's going to establish yourself as an expert in this space. And that's going to just give you some free traffic, basically. It's like what I do with my my Instagram. I have a lot of just me stitching people's stuff with Instagram and like replying to their comments and stuff like that about Facebook ads.
Okay.
It's feeling helpless. That lonely is popping up a lot in our research. I don't know. Have you tried a lot about lonely?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's definitely a symptom I would look into.
Okay.
Ooh, fog in your brain, crippling anxiety, and exhaustion. Ooh, she gave a really good comment. I like that. It's a little bit more descriptive. One second, real quick. Obviously, crying every day. Crippling anxiety. They didn't just say anxiety, they said crippling anxiety. They didn't say fatigue, they said exhaustion. So sometimes your word choice also too, just being a little bit more descriptive, sounds a lot more powerful.
Remember my mom telling me before I had camp, she was like, I had postpartum depression so bad with you. Like that could never happen to me. I could never not want my baby or like.
Oh, this is such a good one
not
too,
want
from
to
like
be around
the
my baby if
framing of it.
I just remember like sitting in the rocking chair one day and being like, I am not okay. Yeah. Like I like don't, this is everything I've ever dreamt of and I don't.
Like imagine that podcast style. If like as she's going through the saying that little podcast thing right there, she would say like the only thing that's helped me was Prospera and doing those calls and stuff like that. Like that's your money shot right there, basically, of what you need. Like all these girls that are breaking down and clearly are like very emotional in this scene, like you can literally feel their emotions. That's the type of stuff that like if you've leveraged would work really well for you because one, it's going to feel a lot more organic, but two, it's powerful at the same time.
So am I finding actors who would do that? Or like how do I then sort of create that?
This is where this is a tricky thing right here. So what I would be looking at, number one, actors that specifically have gone through this, because me just giving this to someone who's like never ever had a kid, whatever, like they'll do a decent job. But to really be able to be articulate about it, I would try to find more of like some of your superstar customers who can bring to light with this. That might be challenging due to the nature of the business and the privacy some of these people like, but that would be the ultimate win. The next ultimate win would be, hey, can I hire an actor that can go spend a week really understanding this and be able to break down and talk about this in front of the camera? That'd be your next level.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the way I cried because you took the words from my mouth, I was in such a dark place. So people are resonating with this. Yeah. All right. All right, cool. Let's actually start looking at a couple other things now, because this is a lot of good feedback. Like I'll literally spend like, I think the other night, I spent like 4 hours one night just on TikTok, just doing this exact thing right here. And I was able to identify like 4 or 5 customer avatars for a particular client and get so much good, useful information. Again, the reason why I love TikTok so much for research, because if I go to like YouTube and stuff like that, it's just going to be longer form videos, which are still good. Don't get me wrong about long form videos. They're good. But it just takes so much longer to cut through the content. It's quicker to cut through content on the Instagram Reels. And I mean, look, so far it's not really many like people bringing and talking about their personal experience. It's just a lot of like more professional shot content on YouTube. So almost that amateur level of TikTok allows them to be a little bit more raw, a little bit more real. And again, it'll just differ per product. There's some products that I would prefer YouTube over TikTok for like research and stuff like that. So, okay, cool. Let's start looking at potentially start writing some of the first few ads. Got a decent amount of research done. What I'd like to try to do is write a story, and I'll show you guys what that looks like real quick. Not my story, a story. So, in the sense of like, hey, my customer just gave birth a week ago. Since we saw a lot of people say about literally between 3 to 11 days. So we could even tend to split up your customer avatar, not just postnatal or postpartum. It could also be like different time frames, a week, 3 months, 30 days, 90 days. You can actually try to extend that a little bit more. And then this is where we start to look at what do they feel, right? Let's see, gave birth a week ago. And they are. All right. And then we'll start transitioning to, so my customer just gave birth a week ago and they're starting to feel symptoms of postpartum anxiety. They do not know it's postpartum anxiety, but they feel the following symptoms: crippling anxiety, extreme loneliness, emotional fatigue, and struggling to get through the day. They do not know who to talk to or what kind of support they need. They feel helpless. All right. Now I can kind of like, I don't know if you guys can like start to like mentally start to visualize this now. Now, what I like to also start to do is start to push in the product as well. Notice I put start overcoming this in as little as 1 session. I didn't say overcome this in 1 session, but starting the journey of it in 1 session as well. Because I know it's multiple sessions. It's not just a one and done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we talked about price real quick for this. Is your solution cheaper than a therapist from the price perspective? What is that?
We use the phrase a fraction of the cost of traditional therapy. And there are therapists who specialize in it, but they're going to be typically at least $200 a session.
Mm,
So that's kind of how we frame it. Like a therapists who specialize in postpartum are going to be really expensive, at least 200 a session. Ours is as little as $47 a session.
got it. Okay.
So it's not that they're not specialists, but if you find a specialist, they tend to be very expensive.
So this will kind of go against some of the ads that you've created though, where you said like, hey, like, we're specialists when it comes down to this.
Right. So they're very hard to find. They're few and far between, which makes them expensive. So it's hard to find someone who doesn't have a wait list or who's affordable. And so we're sort of making it much easier to get access to that specialist.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna say weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna say weird cheaper than a therapist. How do you like to call yourself again? Postpartum coaches?
Yeah.
I don't like network, but that's a start.
Team.
Through our team. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. All right, my customer mom just gave birth a week ago, and they're starting to feel symptoms of postpartum anxiety. They do not know it's postpartum anxiety, but they feel the following symptoms: crippling anxiety, extreme loneliness, emotional fatigue, and struggling to get through the day. They do not know how to talk, or they do not know who to talk to or what kind of support they need. They feel helpless. Traditional postpartum therapists who specialize in this are often 2 times more expensive than a conventional therapist and have a long wait list. Our product, Prospera, helps them overcome postpartum anxiety and makes them feel better. This is through our team of postpartum coaches. We give them the coping tools they need to start overcoming this in as little as 1 session. I like they need. I don't care grammarly. All right, awesome. Andrea, is this kind of close to what would you say this is kind of accurate right here?
Yeah, very accurate. Yeah, very good.
Cool. Oh. All right. Let me just check the comments real quick. All right. You need a postpartum coach with thick skin. That would be an interesting little like image ad right there.
My reply here, I just gave one of our reviews to sort of offset the darkness of it, that like we can really help women out of this. So I kind of had this question that Antoine had about it's like, do we want to talk about therapists here if we're focusing on that problem aware or even unaware market?
So for the therapist side, that's where we're looking at solution aware, right? These people don't know they need a therapist at all. These people don't even know what the problem is, right? It's a lot of just symptoms. So, but if you look at Antoine, I don't start talking about a therapist until later on in this little thing I just wrote right here. Basically this is like me kind of technically like writing a story of someone going through this, plus also starting to plug in my product. Like this would be a phenomenal ad right here for just someone to like basically ball out in front of the camera and ball out in terms of like a girl crying and literally talking about this right here. I just gave birth a week ago. And then, little did I know I started experiencing symptoms of postpartum anxiety, but I had no clue I had postpartum anxiety. But I was struggling with anxiety, extreme loneliness, like all those things like that. And like that would kind of be going into that, like in an ad right there. That's one angle I would also take as well. So what I'm going to do with this is kind of like my information. This is like my biography that I'm going to give ChatGPT, because again, I don't recommend you using AI to write ads, but I do recommend it from the perspective of I'm giving it the research. Like I don't want to use AI to do the research for me, because let's just say, for example, we just started this call and I said, all right, cool, ChatGPT, do the research for me. you would not have been able to feel the emotions of these girls if you just had ChatGPT do it for you. And if you couldn't feel the emotions, then you would have never been able to understand what's kind of like, yeah, ChatGPT is telling me, they're crying, they're feeling lonely, but I don't really know to the extent, right? Are they telling me they feel lonely and like talking in this mindset like I am right now, or voice I am right now? Or are they telling me they feel lonely and crying in front of the camera? Like you're gonna take and weight that in your mind to two different extremes. So that's also why like I still personally like to do all the research manually, because it doesn't really allow me to figure out where do I weight different things at. So that's a couple things I like to look at. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to do something very basic. Here is a bio on our customer. Please use this to create me hooks using the template below. Boom. And then hook templates. Real quick. I normally do Claude, but ChatGPT Claude's being a little bit of a pain today. All right, so we get. Feel less alone. Start seeing results in just one session. Get relief from postpartum anxiety in as little as one session. So this is a great example right here. Unaware is this, prom aware is this. Half the cost, no waitlist. Your postpartum support starts now with Prospera. That's definitely a lot more solution aware right here, because they've actually checked out like other like other things. Let Prosperita lift the weight of postpartum anxiety off your shoulders. Ooh, that's a good one. Finally, a solution that makes you feel heard, understood, and supported. Feeling overwhelmed, just one session for Prosperita coach can start turning things around. So I would probably do, instead of feeling overwhelmed, I would just literally call it the fact that it's postpartum anxiety.
Postpartum anxiety, just one session.
Yeah. She thought she was just having a hard day until Prosperator helped her feel whole again. I'd probably tweak that again to a little bit more like or like postpartum anxiety. No more wait lists or high fees. Postpartum support is just one click away. It's a good one. Thousands of moms trust Prospera to get their lives back on track after childbirth. Prosperity Coaches gives you tools. So this is a little leaning towards the more the solutional aware side. Here's what I'm gonna do. These are all very good, and I like these. I'm actually gonna copy them because there's some really good ones in here, but it's still leaning a little too solutional aware. But
and Nick, the prompt there was use this bio to create hooks following this format, and then you pasted those hook concepts. Okay.
So look, let me just boom. Give all of this over to you, Andre, after this. Are you learning a thing or two? Or is like
I'm learning. I feel badly because it's focused on my thing, but hopefully there's some things helpful.
Oh, hey, you won fair and square. Looks like the retention in the call is still pretty high too. So I'm really hoping all y'all learning something too right now. Y'all drop like a 1 in the chat if you're learning something, or sweet. There you go.
Okay, I feel less guilty.
Trust me, they're learning so much more by using your product than if we did something like a t-shirt, because yours is more complex, and because of the complexity of it, that's how you become a better marketer, is work on more complex projects. So like if I just sold t-shirts, for example, it's very easy to compete in that niche. But when I work on more complex projects, that's where I have the most fun because that's what challenges my skill set and makes me start to like push my, that's how I grow essentially. It's like if you go to the gym every day and just do the bar on bench press, and it's like, I'm really great at that. But like this project right here is like doing like a bar plus 2 plates on each side, 135 pounds. It's a little bit more weight, but that's how I grow and become better in that sense. I mess up that word every time. Get relief from crippling anxiety in just one session of Prosperity. Feel less alone, less anxious, and more like yourself in as little as 30 minutes. Half the cost without the weight. Feel better with Prosperity faster than you think. Watch the weight of emotional fatigue melt away after just one session of Prosperity. I imagine waking up tomorrow with more energy, less anxiety, and feeling ready to tackle the day. Okay, these are good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tweak it one more time. I'm basically just gonna say like, one, it needs to be sure, we need to make sure that we appeal to our ideal customer, which is a new mom. And then the second thing we also need to do is I also want to kind of make these a little bit more geared towards like a first person point of view. As I feel like that would do a little bit better if you decide to like any UGC videos and stuff like that. I do know you do a lot of graphics, so I'm also going to keep these because the graphics I find do a little bit better with straight selling headlines. But these some first person point of views can work really good from like a UGC perspective if you would find a girl like this to film a video for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you can talk, you can start feeling better. I like that one. That's a good one.
The challenge is that you have to fit mental health, you have to fit postpartum, and then you have to fit some part of the solution all in there. I think that's the biggest challenge.
And that's also where your landing page comes in play.
Mm-hmm.
So, like this is where like I'm excited for your advertorial. Now, to be fair here, looking at this landing page now, after doing all that research, this just doesn't strike me anymore as like, I just did all this research. I got all this like kind of idea of what my ideal customer is, and I come here and I see your mental health just isn't just about you anymore. Yeah, we definitely have to make some tweaks on this too as well. Something else I'll look at. All right. This is great. Please make sure. All right, let's see how this looks. It did not help me at all. All right. Ooh, for the first time since giving birth, I woke up feeling less anxious and more ready to face the day. After just one session with Prospera, the tools to tackle the day without feeling overwhelmed. I thought loneliness was just part of being a new mom until Prosperity helped me feel connected again. That's a good one. I'm finally feeling less anxious after childbirth. All it took was one session of Prospera. So some of these you could do as like what I would say, just your static graphics you like to do. Because I know you like to run a lot of like little static graphics of like headlines and hooks. And you could test a bunch of those with this. And then from there, start turning those into UGC videos. It's not my like ideal go-to, but if you want to do a lot of testing really fast to find something decent, that works really well for you to do. And then from there, you can start turning those into UGC videos and actually spending the money on that. So
Okay.
let's actually start turning these now into some of these into a headline or an actual story real quick, a script, because we got about 15 minutes left. So first thing, sometimes what we have to do is we need to sort through the noise. There's a lot of hooks here. So one way is just manually go through all these hooks, which I 100% recommend. Today, I'll be lazy for a second and actually show you guys a lazy thing you can do too as well. If you were a marketing expert and needed to catch the attention of our ideal customer, a new mom who is experiencing those symptoms, how would you organize these hooks from order of most likely to convert versus least likely to convert? All right, if you're a marketing expert and need to catch the attention of our ideal customer, a new mom who's experiencing those symptoms, how would you organize these hooks from order of most likely to convert to least likely to convert? If you just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, Prosperous can help you start feeling like yourself again. I just had a baby. Why do I feel so lonely and anxious? Prosperity to help me start feeling better in just one session. This is how you expertly write copy with ChatGPT. See, the reason why AI gets so much hate for copywriting is because people literally go into ChatGPT, write me a Facebook ad. And then the first thing it pushes out, they copy that and they launch it in Facebook. But I mean, look, we started this at 1:30, it's 2:48 now. We're an hour in of research, about 15 minutes of organizing our thoughts and tossing some things in ChatGPT. Then now we're starting to get some of those hooks we can actually leverage there. I really like these. Yeah, these look really good.
One question about the lonely thing. My concern is, would that confuse them about what it is? Because when you say this will help you feel less lonely, then you think like mom group.
It's a good question. Yeah. So that is a good question right there. That's why we kind of try to add as much context as well with if you just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious. So we're kind of also adding a little bit of context right there. I think the aspect of adding the anxious aspect right there also helps out a lot. That it's not just, hey, I feel lonely, because you do bring up a good point right there. Also, let's add the context of a girl crying, kind of, tears down her face when she's talking about this. That's going to be a little bit different than just, hey, I needed a mom group support group from there. All right, let's just, if you just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, person can help you start feeling like yourself again. All right, so a couple things else too. We're implying we're doing everything from our like ideal audience, but we're not intriguing curiosity. And which is like, basically, if you just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, you need to watch this. Versus prosperity can help you start feeling like yourself again. This is losing that curiosity factor. So this is also too where the next step of like, okay, hey, like we need to add that curiosity factor to this. So this is where I'll start doing kind of like my manual writing as well. So let's just go here. Let's just do paste file formatting. If you just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, you need to watch this ASAP, or you need to watch this. How to stop feeling lonely or anxious after giving birth. So key things here is what I'm doing here is I'm basically intriguing that curiosity to like actually want to go through and watch this. Where if I just say in the hook, let's see, let's go back to our hook right there. If you had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, stars can help you start feeling yourself again. That's just a statement right there. Now, to be fair here, this statement works good on an image ad, but for a video where I need to hook someone in and make them want to watch the video, I need to kind of to kind of leave them hanging. I need a cliffhanger here. I don't want to just tell them everything in the hook, because then there's no reason to watch the video. I'm gonna copy that too as well. You know, have a lot of headlines. I like this. Right. And something else in the build up is I'm looking for I'm looking for my stripping script. Ooh, my book. By the way, guys, I go through all of this in my book. You guys are just seeing a real time, literally a real time version of this. All right, there we go. Reinforce desire. That's what I was looking for. I don't know why for the life of me I couldn't figure that out right now. There we go. Becoming a mom is beautiful, but no one told you how lonely it could feel. Maybe you're feeling anxious, emotional, or struggling to get through the day. It's not what you expected, and you're just not sure where to turn. You're not alone. Prosperity is great to help moms just like you, giving you the support and tools you need to start feeling better fast. Start feeling like yourself again in just one session. Just one session, Prosperity connects you with a certified postpartum coach who understands what you're going through. No more feeling lost, no more waiting for help. Prosperity support just one click away. Okay, that's not bad. I wouldn't say that's terrible at all. Let's see. Let me do something real quick. Just give me voiceover. You just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, you need to watch this. Becoming a mom is beautiful. No one told you how lonely it could feel. That's a good one right there. That's an objection, a great objection one. Kind of like you're handling the objection before it starts, because it's like that is something that probably no one's brought up, you know, in terms of like the pregnancy world. This is amazing. So this is great. Please please strengthen. It's probably won't look at. Oh, if
Nick,
you
what
just
was
had a
the
baby,
prompt?
go ahead.
What was the prompt for the script? How did you prompt for the script the first time?
So I picked the book and I just said, hey, create me a
Okay.
seconds. All right. If you just had a baby and feel lonely or anxious, you need to hear this. Becoming a mom is beautiful, but no one told you how overwhelming it could feel. The exhaustion, the anxiety, the loneliness. It can feel like there's no way out. But what if you could start feeling like yourself again today? Prosperity was made to help you overcome these feelings, give you the confidence and peace you deserve. Imagine waking up tomorrow with more energy, less anxiety, and finally feeling connected again. Prosperity makes that possible. One session with our certified postpartum coach can start making a difference right away. Not weeks from now, not months from now, today. All right, this is way too long. So what I'll do is please shorten. Double space each line is I like it, boom, almost like a tweet. Just easier to consume when you're doing the rough draft. All right, awesome. That actually looks good. I like that. And I would look, last thing I want to add, this is where I'm gonna start kind of tweaking it now. We have a pretty good base. Let's go to our add ideas. Okay. You just had a baby feel loneliness or anxious, you need to hear this. All right. So first things first, implied benefit, intrigue, curiosity, ideal audience. Ideal audience, if you just had a baby. Implied benefit. So this is where instead of implied, a benefit can be escape danger or grow closer to pleasure. That's how I look at it. So this is kind of one where it's like, hey, if you feel lonely or anxious, and then you watch this, I'm hinting at the fact that you'll never feel that way again. Or I'm hinting at the fact that there's possibly something that could be put in there, right there. Becoming a mom is beautiful. No one told you how overwhelming it could feel. The exhaustion, the anxiety, the loneliness. It can feel like there's no way out, but what if you could start feeling yourself again today? Prosperity was made to help you overcome those feelings. Imagine waking up tomorrow with more energy and less anxiety. One thing that we didn't do too much research on is what is on the other side of postpartum depression, anxiety, like all the symptoms and stuff. Obviously, our audience wants to escape from it, but what do they visualize? Obviously, they want a normal momhood, but what is a normal momhood to them? Is it the idea of being able to take their kids for a walk in the morning and not having to freak out on them or something like that, or worry about the freak out or something? What are those different scenarios that they normally kind of like mess up in right now? And what do they visualize as they want to happen? Like great example is like one of my dogs right now, my newer dog. It's like he's only 11 months old right now. Every time I take him for a walk, originally he was extremely bad on the leash. He would want to like jump up, pull, yelp, cry when I'm walking my neighborhood. What I visualize of what I want is being able to just walk him in peace, just perfectly on the side of me, no problems at all. That's what I want. So talking a little bit more about that in this script, which we didn't do too much research on because there's so much on the problem side with this and the symptom side of this one. That would be one thing that I'd be looking to add a little bit more to in terms of like tweaking, improving the script a little bit more. Perspective makes it possible. One session for our certified postpartum coaches can start making a difference right away. 9 weeks from now, today, with Prosperity, you have a partner every step of the way. No more waiting for an appointment. No more struggling in silence. Thousands of moms have already trusted Prosperity. You'll experience personalized support from experts who understand exactly what you're going through. Imagine a weight being lifted off your shoulders, the fog of anxiety clearing. Prosperity helps you take control of your mental health. All right, I don't like click below and start making your journey to feeling better. This is where I would kind of like book your first session free today, almost, where it's almost like kind of like first session's free, which technically for Andrea is a consult, because you have to kind of consult with them a little bit to see if they're a good fit, right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of do that as like your first session today. I do this works extremely well on my YouTube channel, where I'll just like literally at the end of the video be like, hey, book a free strategy session below with me if you're making at least $100,000 a month. And to be fair, we don't really talk much on that strategy call, and they're like blown away by the value. So there's a certain level of when they feel understood on that call, that's going to make them feel really good on that call, even though it's not like technically like a strategy session. So, and I know you making them feel understood and giving them that hope, that's going to make them like super excited.
Yeah, so that's our main focus of that call.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do like book your first free session today, book your first free session today. That could be a good one right there. Let's see. Another thing I like to do is honestly, I would probably just do that because we're leading off with mental health. And then when we get to your thing, you're talking about mental health. So that would be a perfect segue to where to start at. And instead of a consult, I would definitely try like strategy session or like book your first session for $0. Because that might resonate with them a little bit better. All right. Cool. And we're going to start wrapping this up. Cool. Next thing from here is, okay, so a couple different ways for this is now what you can do is take your script. You have a script now. Is going ahead and actually putting that into ChatGPT and adding B-roll. There we go. B-roll is technically kind of like what you visually show. So a new mom sitting in a quiet room, holding her baby, looking tired and emotionally distant, gazing out a window. I mean, look, to be fair, one of our key visuals was a mom holding her baby. This is a mom holding her baby right here. The only difference is I'll probably tweak this to maybe like a mom crying and holding her baby. Become a mom is beautiful, no one told you. Shots of the same mom smiling at her baby, but quickly shifting moments of her looking stressed, rubbing her forehead and sighing. The exhaustion, the anxiety, the loneliness, close-ups of her trying to nap, but able to fall asleep. Oh, I know exactly what visual we should do for that one. That would be a good one right there. Yeah, it's like that needs to be in there. This needs to be in here for the let's see, that one. Cool. All right. Probably a better way we could do that. Oh, that'd be cool. Her actually like a mom sitting down in front of the computer and then like holding her baby, talking to someone online. That'd be pretty cool. Starting to showcase and paint that picture. That's really good. All right, split screen, one on one side. She's using her phone for a virtual coaching session with Prosperita. On the other side, she's calmly tending to her baby with a more confident, happy expression. Cool. All right, so I like a lot of this. I'm going to copy this because there's one more thing we got to do here before we're ready to submit this. There we go. Cool. Over to B-roll. I'll tweet that. That'll be the next thing. And then what we need here is we need, please. Oh, we have our 3 visual hooks. Because right now we have basically a mom sitting down, holding her baby. So we could try 2 more different visual hooks. Oh, the new mom sitting on her bed, holding her phone, scrolling through social media. She sees posts of other moms with their babies smiling and connected, while she looks isolated. Close up her face, showing her eyes welling with tears as she scrolls past pictures. Baby's crying softly in the background. She glances. That's an interesting one. That's a very interesting one right there. You could do literally like a girl like scrolling through her phone and like just showing a bunch of babies on Facebook, and she's just doing the angry face on all of them. That would be an interesting one. It'd be kind of close on the branding aspect and the mood we're trying to put people in, but that'd be one of those like offset ones I'd probably try. Cool. Yeah, that's like some other ones right there. I'm not a fan of that one, but I like this one to an extent. So what I would do is visual hook number 1. It's just going to be basically the original right here. There we go. Two. I really want to do this one. And then visual hook number 3. There we go. So it's kind of like 3 different locations she's in. One, she's in a room. It could be like sitting in a quiet room. This could be like the sitting in the is it nursery is what moms call it?
Mhm.
Yeah. So now you have 3 different kind of settings. And here you go. Visual hook 1. There we go. So you'd basically get them to film, obviously the original visual hook is already in the script, but you would get them to do that. I don't like how ChatGPT formatted this. Let me do. Okay, that's not what I want. If not. There we go. That's how I have it like formatted. Cool. So what I'll be doing next too, Andrea, is here's one angle you're attacking this now. And I gave you, let me go all the way down to like the official, the ordered ones. Let's see. Did I put the ordered ones? I guess I didn't put the ordered ones in there. I'll copy that for you. But I'll basically be going now and looking at some of those other ones that, that I put in there. And I'd be looking at putting those in your list.
So my question is sort of, what do I do next? Because like, would you hire someone to create this? Because this is sort of beyond my own. I mean, I can do some of the B-roll, but I just have to rely on the, the
Yeah,
videos
so
that
here,
online.
this is usually where we'll go and hire someone now from like Instance, for example, or if you know someone. I know you have like your own little connection as well.
Yeah, I think I get really insecure about giving that direction of how to create the clip, and just like I don't feel like I know how to direct them and then get what I want. So I really don't do that. I like procrastinate on that. I never do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super important right there.
Yeah.
And look, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually put this all the way up for you. So you got to see two different examples today. You got to see us going literally just recreate an ad from a competitor. I know that was like hours ago, but you got to see that aspect right there. So that's one way. And then the second way now come down to actually going and through that whole process of research, using ChatGPT, using some of the tools you have at hand, and being able to use those tools in a way that makes sense as well to get that high quality output that you're looking for. The next thing that you would essentially do from here is you would actually go and test. Obviously, you test like this one, for example, and then you would also look at. Let me find that big ass list for you. All right, it's this one right here. So like this is your big list of hooks. And what I would do is I would start going in like, all right, what are the ones that are the most different from each other? And what are the ones that, the reason why I say the most different, because if they all seem similar, guess what? It's not really going to create a new winning ad. And then also too, what are ones that maybe you could just, like, you don't have to do a video ad for all of these. You know, you could easily go create a photo ad with one of these. Let's see. So like this one right here, get relief from postpartum anxiety in one session. All right, here is my hook. Please create me 5 engaging Facebook image ad ideas. And let's just see what pops up right there. There we go. And there we go. And then we just have like 5 different image ads you can create off of this. So something else that for the remaining of you that are on here, a few of y'all in here, is you'll also know like ChatGPT has been having some really amazing outputs this whole call. And that's because of that story we told ChatGPT way at the beginning. That's what like, I like to look at it as like your operating system for the computer. You know, when we load in the right operating system of how it should think, then everything it makes in decisions based off now is based off that original operating system. So cool thing now about for like you, Andrea, is you have that operating system I just wrote for you, and you can over time make this longer and more detailed too. The more you understand and the more you learn. I mean, this is just from one research session. You're literally in every single day. So there's more you can expand on that story, and that's also going to help you out as well. And then this will just be those photo ads. Formatting can be a little crazy on the sheet, but
Okay, I'll figure it
you
out.
got like 7 different ads just right off of here that you can go create. First off, quick questions from you, Andrea, and then I'm just gonna kind of do a general census real quick around the group, just quick questions related to today's lesson. We're already like over time by far, so we're not gonna be able to make it to Q&A today, but at least specifically from what y'all learned today, I mean, I would love to be able to further give to y'all or like help y'all out understanding anything that I did today that may be new or new learnings, anything like that. Love to help y'all out. So first off, Andre, do you have any questions?
No, I'll let others go.
All right, cool. Anyone have any questions specifically related to today's lesson? Did y'all learn anything new today?
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Jen.
I forgot I was on 2 devices. I missed a little bit of I saw when you were in TikTok. I guess directly for me, if I'm researching other t-shirt brands, to like look in their comments and things like that, like the way you did that, I've never thought to do that. I've only looked at my own comments. So for me, would I just be looking for graphic tees and things like that, or would I be looking beyond that when I'm doing my search on social?
Ooh, so that's a really good one for you, because to be fair, other graphic tees are going to be the worst place of research for you.
I'm glad I asked.
Do you know why?
Nope.
Because you're not competing on material. You're not competing on fit. You're not competing on comfort. What are you competing on?
Having the best statement on there. So being funny. Yeah.
And where do you find those statements at?
And like comedy videos.
There you go. There you go.
Got it.
You'll waste your time looking at other competitors because you're not competing on style, fit, or anything like that. You're competing on who has the most interesting design.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You got me together. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone got anything else specifically related today? Because yeah. Oh, look, hold up. Antoine just put a bunch of things. Would you test this ad out when you've done so little research? I would just think I haven't done enough research yet, though. I even understand what you wrote here, why you wrote it. It seems like you don't overthink ad testing too much. Yeah, look, so I went to Vid Summit about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago in Dallas. That's where I went. I was trying to figure out where I went. And I got to talk to everyone. I got to talk to people like Mr. Beast's production team. I got to talk to a bunch of other YouTubers who are doing like 1 billion views a month, like insane numbers. And the key thing for them is that the more you overthink everything, the less action you take. So be okay with taking imperfect action in the beginning and developing your skill set as you go. So if you commit to testing 5 ads every week, even if it's the worst 5 ads you've ever made, you're still gonna produce those 5 ads. And as you're in the game and playing the game, you're gonna get and develop your skill set better. Now, key thing here is, for like the thing I learned was that the YouTuber teams that are doing these crazy numbers, like even Mr. Beast's team, they have an 85% good enough rating. And as soon as a video hits 85%, they upload it. Because if you're chasing perfection and this ad has to be 100% perfect, that might take you a year to do. There will always be a little thing that you have to constantly tweak. So it's, hey, can I, as long as I got the 85% there, then let's launch. In this particular example, yeah, I only got to research about an hour. And to be fair, I think at least some of that looked pretty good, not to toot my own horn. But for the most part, like that was the best I could write with that hour of research. If I would consistently do this every day for the next 5 days, y'all would see probably completely different ideas come from. And that's just a thing of me being in the game for longer, playing the game, learning a little bit more, and taking action.
I've talked to thousands of women, and what he came up with was pretty right on, consistent with what I hear. So yeah, I mean, there could be
imagine if I was doing this for like
but
a week straight, it would have been interesting. Once you've had the ad right now, if it fails in order to make the new one, you just redo a different hook pattern, iterate, depends on the results, or as this pretty confident test right. So I'm assuming that I've never ever ran ads for Andrea. She's never read ads in her life, and I just created the first ad today. That's kind of how the assumption I went. That's actually a great idea. I think for the next time I do this, I'm gonna pick an ad in an account that's already doing good, and we can try to iterate off of it. But that's kind of how the assumption I went with today, because I have no history on this account. What I created today was the most confident thing I could create in that particular given time. Now, if I was running ads for Andrea for a week straight, I've done like multiple of these videos and stuff like that, and actually start to understand what's going on in the account, then I can be like, oh, I have no confidence in this performing, or, oh, I have confidence in this performing. Based off what we saw on TikTok today, that's what I'm basing all my confidence on. So for example, me seeing those girls crying, that makes me be like, oh wait, we need to put a girl crying in that video because it's making me more confident of that performing because of how many views and how many likes and comments those videos had. I had confidence in the things we talked about in the script today based off the research today. Confidence stems from a repetition of things happening and getting the result, and me seeing a repetition of those things in the comments and the visuals, that's what gives me that confidence. And as far as if this thing didn't work, it really depend on, okay, why did it work? Did it get overall spin and it just didn't convert? If it got overall spin and didn't convert, well, guess what? I just need to go improve the back end. The hook was good. I just need to improve the back end. The rest of the script didn't do good. If it didn't get any spin or barely got any spin, that shows me the hook needs to be reworked, and I'll probably work on that hook a little bit more. And depending on how much I change that hook, I might need to write a whole new script. All right, if this was your client, how much more time would you normally spend on research before getting to where you ended today? I mean, like, look, we onboarded a new client about, I don't know, a week ago, and I spent like 4 hours on research before I put anything together, right? It just depends, right? I think if I was actually doing this for Andrea, she signed on today, I would have probably spent another 2-3 hours going through TikTok. And I would have probably done a little bit more kind of prioritization of different key things that we said. And that's where I've been like kind of like sorting a little bit more, like certain symptoms a little higher than others, things like that. But then also too, I run an agency, so I have to also have a certain level of like, okay, like we have to have that time set of like, hey, I need this ad by this day, so, and I still have to get these other things on my plate. So like, hey, this is enough research for today to write this concept, and as I write more concepts, I have trust and faith in the idea of me doing this research and produce better results as well. All right, Tyler, you raised your hand.
Yeah, so with a CBO, you were saying like when you're testing and like if spend takes over on the creative, but it doesn't have like a great CPA, like it's not performing well, you said the rest of the creative needs to be improved, not the hook, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah,
then so
and that's also where I do one iteration. So when I say iteration, as in like I'm gonna try, like that's my theory. Hey, if it got a lot of spin, that means it's engaging, the hook's pulling people in. So one of my hypotheses, if I fix the rest of the video, then it'll fix the rest of the ad.
how would you
And if
figure
it
that
doesn't
out?
work, then I just cut that concept.
Okay. How would you, because right now I'm running ABOs, right? So how obviously my spend's not gonna get taken over by a creative.
No.
How would you come to that same conclusion with an ABO, or would you not?
That's where it's difficult. I mean, in that sense right there, it's difficult to understand that because you're forcing spin to it. So it's I can't really come to that conclusion, to be fair.
Okay. Do you look
I
at
could
like
look
like
at-
what like
I could look at the
watch
average
rate?
hook rate. So the hook rate metric inside of Facebook, I could look at that hook rate compared to the others. And if that hook rate's really low, then I could look at that being one of my things to fix.
You said the metric's called hook rate?
Yeah, if you go inside the course, I show y'all how to set up the hook rate, the metrics. If you go into like the course under ad account management, I think I have like my columns, it's either columns or metrics as a lesson that'll show you how to set up hook rate.
Okay.
All right, and also for the other ad ideas for this first initial test, would you continue going through TikToks looking for other ideas for ads, right? You wouldn't just create variations of this first ad you made. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I would look at, that's also where it's like it's taking the full thing into picture and what are the different kind of desires, concepts and stuff like that that we can create, those larger swings as well, I like to say. So like, let's say, for example, anxious and loneliness versus self-harm, right? There was like one or two comments I saw about self-harm, right? So one mom is feeling self-harm, another mom is feeling lonely and anxious. Another mom is feeling it was where you wouldn't bond with the baby. Right. So these are all different types of symptoms that are very like large swings from each other. So there's some other stuff I would test within that. Cool. Any last questions about today's lesson?
One more thing, Nick. So, would you ever recommend like creating that whole script with the B-roll descriptions and everything, and then sort of having an agency or something create the video itself? Like, is that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't think you need an agency. I think you can easily do like instance first. Agency, you're looking to start spending a couple $1,000s to get that produced. But start simple. Start, who do I have in my network that I could leverage? Then, okay, I don't have anyone. Where can I go hire talent cheap? You can even test like Fiverr too. Fiverr, you can hire people for one-off videos. I recommend Incense because it's just so happen to be the best platform for UGC we've ever worked with. But yeah, there's also like some modeling agencies too and acting agencies you can even reach out to. I know some people do that. They do I think it's Backdoor. I could be completely wrong, but I think it's called Backdoor where they find that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Any last questions based off what we did today?
Yeah, I just have one quick question. So what we went over today was like creating the first test for a specific concept, right? For whatever that service or product is. For me, since I'm kind of already taking existing content and testing the different concepts, like I am kind of already past that point, right? If I have winning creatives, then I just want to focus on iterations and then variations once I find my best messaging and hook and everything. Is that right?
Yeah, so once you find your winning, I don't want to say hook, but yeah, you find your winning hook, kind of like the concept that you want, that's when you can do some iterations on that concept. Change the hook or like just tweak the hook, do different visual hooks. And then also another thing you can do is kind of maybe tweak the script a little bit. And then that's also where you can do the variations, right? Variations is you're saying the same thing, but in completely new ways.
Okay, so like would filming or would using new visuals and a different actor, I guess. Would that be an iteration or a variation?
New visuals with the same actor, or same actor with new visuals, or what was
Like
it?
just filming in a new location with the new actor.
So what I would be looking at from there is that'd be an iteration, because as long as everything else stays the same, it's just new visuals. Everything else stays the same though.
Okay.
All right, cool. Any last questions before we wrap up, specifically related to today's lesson? All right, awesome. I'll post the recording here. Give me about an hour or two. Recording will be up. Great call. I'll make sure to make a note, and we can do another one like this, except the next time we do this, what we'll do is we'll do a call on iterations and variations, where we'll hop in someone's ad account, we'll take their highest performing ad, and then we'll iterate on that, and we'll hop in their account and do the lowest performing ad as well, and iterate based off of that as well. So y'all have yourselves a good weekend, and we'll be back here next Friday. Take care. Have a good one.